I got my coffee. I have my thoughts. It's time. Good morning. Hope everyone's doing well. Well, the question was asked to me, like, what would I do if I was in Capcom's shoes? Me being me, what I would have done, what I would do if I was Capcom for Street Fighter 6 Season 2. Tell you exactly what I would do. So first things first, I would readjust the entire structure, right? Now hear me out. I know a lot of people are super excited for the 4 DLC characters per season, right? Normal route. Right, this is the normal route. Me, I would go, instead of 4 DLC characters, I would go 3 DLC characters. Mid-season patch. Meaningful. A meaningful patch, right? Let me add this. 3 DLC characters, mid-season patch, and then I would do costumes. Maybe costume packs. Give season, not season pass. Battle pass. Give battle passes meaningful content, such as specific skins, skin packs, skin slash colors for characters. What else could you do? Let's see here. I think they just really need to do this, to be honest. And then in between, like the in between DLC characters would be what's it called? Yeah, basically you would have that. So you have costume packs. Yeah, or should just costume DLC, just because I think it'll be easier to understand. Costume DLC packs, and just pretty much in between DLC. You know, so like that could be like bug fixes, collabs with other IPs. I think you're pretty much cooking at that point. Like, the game doesn't need that much. Now, I'll tell you why I would isolate this to 3. I think 3 DLC characters is perfect for the sheer fact that you get a mid-season patch. I think most people would prefer a mid-season patch than to wait a year, because I said this in like my last video about this, which was basically Capcom and the way that they're doing their CPT season is they're doing it for 6 to 8-ish months, have somewhat of an off season after CPT. Pretty much once January, February hits, you can expect to just be done, right? And you're just waiting for season 3 at this point. So I feel like what I would have done, go the mid-season patch, so that you can, like, basically the mid-season patch would be post Capcom Cup. And then with the way that they're doing their current things, you can, instead of doing 4 characters, you have 3. You get your first character after Evo, second character Evo, then like, what's that, a couple months later you can go, I still think Rashid messed up the DLC release schedule, but basically you can have one character come out before the end of Capcom Cup. This way that character can get played for at least 2 or 3 months, and then boom, Capcom Cup's over, mid-season patch to hold people over. The last character doesn't really get much until the next balance patch, because that's the last character to come out, so it wouldn't make sense for them to get any kind of change. Maybe a bug fix or two, but like if they were to do it this way, you'd have more breathing room. You can fill in all the time in between with other DLC, like I mentioned before. So costume packs, battle pass can have more meaningful content like skins and colors for the characters, and anything else in between. I don't see an issue with this, but I could see some people being upset and just wanting the 4 characters and saying forget the mid-season patch. The only reason, and like I said before, I feel like this is one of the best routes they could go, because I think that this helps deal with so many people who are tired of looking at the same balance. Many people get tired of looking at the same characters in top 8s, top 16s, top 32s, pools. You have it. Like, CPT was essentially the Luke show. There was like 15 Lukes that qualified. Like, that's a lot of Luke to look at. So, if you could have something after Capcom Cup to keep people happy, because let's face facts, the way the CPT season rolls out, it doesn't roll out for the entire year. It rolls out for that period of time, and then that's it. So, and especially with everything being like this season in particular with CPT, everything is so tight knit right now. So it's like, it kind of makes sense to do something along these lines. This way, what ends up happening is that little mid-season patch after Capcom Cup gives the other tournaments, which is the other thing I wanted to mention, it gives the other tournaments that are not a part of CPT a little bit more excitement for those tournaments, because normally what they would do, they'd run it, start from January, end in December. But the way the game's released and its anniversary is just, I don't know. It's good for them, but it's not good for the competitive. The casuals don't give a shit about CPT like that. They're just gonna watch and call it a day. Competing with them doesn't really matter as much. Not to knock anyone that does play or compete, just pointing it out. So I don't know, I can't think of anything else, because part of the issue is, right, and the big reason why I even put this up in the first place is this reason right here, right? So issues as to why this could be a better route. Simple. Capcom claims, Capcom devs claim it takes, was it roughly 2 years? Question mark? To make, I cannot type, make a character, which I wouldn't assume that includes modern, classic, dynamic control schemes, move balance, and like I say, move balance and how they fit in the game, maybe. Scope. Yeah, so modern classic dynamic control schemes, move balance and how they fit in the current scope of the game. Makes sense. You have all these things to look at. So in knowing that it takes, oh, that's right, can't forget, this is also World Tour editions due to character inclusion, because they always add them into World Tour mode, right? God, I can't stand how this looks. There we go. Move balance / how they fit in the game, current scope of the game. World Tour editions. Not to mention Street Fighter 6 is essentially an emulator too. Because they have added a lot of games that were in the arcade to Street Fighter 6 for you to play in the Battle Hub. So it's like, you know what I mean? Can't forget that's also a thing. So they're also working on that. So even though that doesn't really contribute to making a character, that's probably a separate team. There's that. What other things could it be? I think it's pretty much this, right? I'll also add in terms of adding the characters, I remember seeing how they we'll just throw it in there, animation. They do mocap. I remember seeing that they had like mocap for Aki. I can see how that took a while. So yeah, I think these are like, why? Animations take time, balancing them out for different control schemes, and then balancing out their moves in general for the current scope of the game. And that current scope doesn't mean community. That means what they see in their head. For example, when they've ended with Street Fighter V's last season, they felt like Alex was the best character in the game when it was still Luke. So it kind of like goes to show like they know their game, but they don't know their game. Let's see here. I think this is mostly it. I could add more to it, but just to kind of round it out, this is what I would do and why I think going the 3 character route in mid-season patch would be more meaningful than 4 characters and having to wait. Because I have a sneaking suspicion, you know, and it's just my theory crafting here. Again, there's no knock to Capcom. Love the company, love the content creator program and whatnot. But like objectively speaking, I still think Rashid was a problem. I think he just came out way too soon, and I want to say that messed up the DLC schedule. So I think, again, this is why I think this would work. People probably would be upset at maybe 3 DLC characters throughout the year, but like I feel like the way they did DLC characters in Street Fighter V was kind of bad. You know? I think the way they did was kind of bad. Mostly because you had like 4, and some seasons you had 4 characters, some seasons had 5 if I recall. I think season 1 had the most DLC characters. I think everything after that was like 4. And then you had like a big delay with Kage. I think Kage came out, and then there was like a big ass delay in characters. It was just him for a while. Which I don't think there's anything wrong with not having DLC characters or that many DLC characters in the year, as long as you're doing, you know, mid-season patches. Oh, I forgot. Let me add stages to this. Forgot. That bar. There we go. So I think these pretty much it. I think this would help a lot, because I think this current situation with the Kuma is just not very good. All this will be forgotten once he drops, though. That's for sure. All the complaints, all the worries, concerns, it will all be dropped the second this character comes out. Yep. I guess a quick addendum to all of this. You know, as I mentioned earlier, it gives these other tournaments something to look forward to. I do feel bad for this year's Combo Breaker because the patch literally drops. I think what Combo Breaker is this weekend, and this patch drops like Wednesday, and people voted to play on this patch without knowing anything, which I think is kind of bad. Sure, you have to get used to whatever your character is supposed to do now in 3 days. Tournament starts like what, Friday? So it's gonna be a big like coin flip. I don't know. For competitive, I think this sucks, but it doesn't. That doesn't really coincide. Like, that schedule doesn't coincide with what Capcom has to offer. I just think it's a little unfortunate that they got caught up in this mess. This happened to a lot of other tournaments too. Even Texas Showdown's had this. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people wanted to play on the patch, but I think the issue isn't the patch. The issue is when the patch is dropping. The issue isn't people not wanting to play on it or people wanting to play on it at all. It's just when it's coming out. It's like it's the biggest patch for the game with a new character. That kind of sucks. Like, the time frame is coming out. If this was to come out, like if this came out after Evo Japan, like everyone thought that it would, along with the Kuma, that would have been the best time to restart the game. But we're doing this here closer to when the game came out initially, which means if Akuma was to come out in June, this would have been awful. It would have been way worse. Of course, one would argue, well, what's the issue? I mean, there's still time before Evo. You get 1 month. Yeah, cool. But, you know, I think I'm thinking from the competitive standpoint that sucks. For the casuals, they don't care. They just want to play Akuma. Evo and tournaments or whatever, they're just gonna watch those from their home, do the watch parties or whatever with the crib, call that a day. But for those that compete, this sucks. Or that would have sucked, rather, him coming out in June. He's damn near coming out in June as we speak. It's end of May, but yeah, I guess most of my qualms come from the competitive standpoint. I should say that. I do think from a casual standpoint, it's not really that crucial. I think most casual people will just be content with just, hey, I got to play Akuma. And then they'll be happy with it that way. So, but that's just my take, man. I wish well for this game, and I think the game is cool. I just think like where it is right now with this current state, you know, it really is. It's a little painful, not gonna lie, but I hope that their structure for season 2 regarding DLC is a lot better. I'm hoping for the best. I'm still being hopeful about it, but I'm also gonna be real about it too. So yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say about that. But you guys can talk to me in the comments and let me know how you guys are feeling about it. Let me know. So I'm gonna call it here. Peace.